We have a dream to build the first ever lorry mini golf course. First, we have to buy the lorry, then we've got to build a mini golf course in the back of it, and then we're going to pick 10 random subscribers and get them to compete for the lorry mini golf course. So far, we've dismantled, discovered how filthy lorries are, and DIY'd some electrics. And we've only nearly died twice. Let's go, Tommy!
This week, you're joining us for a very merry episode.
As we start to build the bar. Now, building a mini golf course in the back of a lorry isn't as easy as it first seems. So unlike the rest of our crazy projects, this one needs planning. There's spatial limitations, logistical issues, and a lot of beers that need to be drank. So first course of action is to separate the pissheads from the mini golfers. Now, this was a fine balancing act as we didn't want to take up too much mini golf space. However, have the bar big enough for people to sit and enjoy. That's the stub wall for the bathroom. For the bar. That's the stub wall for the bar. I knew I was meant to be B. This will be the main stub wall, and that's where all the overhead storage will be fixed to, hence why it's made out of 4x2s. There's going to be a countertop here with water tanks, etc. And where we get our golf clubs out from underneath to give you guys the golf clubs. That's what the tape's for. Even though it sounded like it, I promise I've not had a beer yet. Right now I'm prioritising building this stub wall. Alright, so now all these walls are studded up and looking pretty sick, and they are solid. But we're about to do something pretty sick. In comes the window. Now we're placing this at 150 centimeters because most people can see over that. So if you're a bartender and you're bored, you can watch all the mini golf players. To build an internal stub wall window is super easy. Essentially, in place it goes, and then we just mark it out and give it a cut. Something's not square. Trust a wall inside a bar to be pissed, especially when it's built by us idiots. However, that didn't stop us from making this window and installing it pucker. We're using 5mm perspex and cutting it down to size. That was a bit of luck. And with even more luck, it should just slot into place. Trust me, it's so expensive, you don't want to get it wrong. Oh my god, this is sick! Only you can reach up there. Look at the window! Now you're probably wondering, this is loose in there, how do you screw it to the wood? Let's show you. Using these beadings. Like most normal humans, we've never built a window before. However, thanks to trusty YouTube, we had a tutorial we could follow. Fingers crossed this works. Once we had all the pieces cut down to size, we started gluing them into the wood. Providing some backup strength with a second fixed nail gun, we was off on our way round the windowsill. You think it's your new glass, Josh? Yo, it's gonna look so sick! That's so clean. Yeah. No, it's not. The first half went so pucker, we was off on our way round the other side. Just check out the silicon skills. I went a bit off piece from the tutorial, however, it was pretty fun. And now the pain isn't going anywhere. Oh! Yes. Yo! Yeah, look at them. When I'm cleaning windows. Sick. Alright, check this thing out, by the way. This is the first homemade window all of us have ever made. And he looks sick. He's less clear because Josh has wiped it with some sort of anti-bac wipe, but one day it'll look nice.
But now it's time to plyboard this thing, so you're not going to be able to see through anywhere else other than the window.
Now, right now, this perspex window is a bit pointless. However, it'll all come together in just a moment. Using 12mm MDF board, we're covering up the wooden skeleton. I mean, there's not much point in a wall if you can see through it.
In I go!
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now this is the problem with being an idiot. Sometimes the most simple of tasks are just a pain. Corpse. Someone's missed the line.
That would be me.
So after giving him a little trim back, it was time to hopefully just slide him into place. Oh, maybe not. Oh, God. Why is it stuck? Where did that come from?
Rescue again.
And believe it or not, after all that hard work... Oh, Lorry, it's looking a bit more wally now. Oh my God, we got a glass window, wall that's solid, not going anywhere. Let's move on to the next thing. My mind has just been blown. We've just had the best morning and picked up the most insane stuff, and it's gonna look so sick. We took a little bit of a detour today and went outside from the land, away from the lorry, and ended up in a place called the Cotford Sawmill. It's in the middle of nowhere, but this place was literally timber heaven.
And when I say that, I mean, look at some of the stuff here. It's just insane. So just imagine every tree you can think of, slice them all into big old slabs, and this place just had it all. So we picked up the 2 most perfect ones, and I'm so excited to create the bar and the counter with them. It's gonna look so sick.
And while we was there, he even showed us how he kiln dries wood.
This is it. That's so weird. Heavy until it's not.
It's actually not too heavy once you got it like this.
Now these are the countertops in question. Flaky and dry, just like we asked for. Whoa. Yo, look at this. It's gonna look sick. The idea is to have this front one to be the serving spot, and at the back, we've got the cocktail bar area. This is so sick.
Whoa.
Why does it look like this?
What's the average height of a serving desk? Meats, poultry, fish, carbohydrates, vegetables, fruit.
Well, that's not what we are.
Cheers, AI.
After this advice, we made a start on the frame for the bar. We had a lot of leftover timber from the stud wall, so even though 4x2s are a little overkill, it saved us another journey and some money. Now, we didn't exactly plan the design for this countertop, but somehow it was coming together so nicely. Now, our plan is to board the front. This will create storage under the counter for golf balls and clubs. For the bar, we used 9mm ply, because it doesn't need to be as strong as a wall. This is there to create a separation and also to just hang decorations off of. So we just needed to screw this in until it didn't wobble and trim the edge because of the bad cut. Now our board was secured, it was time to plonk on top our fresh log. This is the current state of the bar, and it's safe to say he's a little bit barky. Now I'm just stood here imagining, just giving you some golf clubs, giving you some golf balls. It's the perfect height, but it's still a little bit wobbly, so we're gonna have to fix that. And also, you've probably noticed that this isn't flush against the wall, and that's because we're planning to cut that nice and straight about there, and then push it up, and then work with it. No point in waiting around, we've got tree to cut. Now this is such an exciting part because you get a good gist of how this is gonna look. Just wait until this is sanded back, it's gonna look so insane. We decided to cut this using a skill saw, and it's safe to say...
That's so hard! Oh my god! They call it hardwood for a reason.
Yeah, our rusty skill saw blade was struggling.
Oh, not as hard as me!
Now cutting that one side was the easy part. Because this is natural wood, on the other side we're attempting to mimic Mother Nature. Now this should be our speciality, as this relies on a very wonky cut. So after marking it out, we got a fine-toothed jigsaw blade and began creating the masterpiece.
Alright, now that is a cut we can do.
The front of the bar is pretty much ready to be decorated now, so now we're going to move on to the back wall. And this is one thing that's going to go there, you just wait and see.
That thing looks sick.
Pretty sick.
It's too fancy for us.
Oh! Josh. Oh, and it opens.
I would hope
Easy does it. Oh, she's got 4 wheels. Yeah, I'm buying a coat from that thing.
Is it working?
Oh! Made me jump! Whoa! Oh, it looks sick. Bit of vines and you'll be jungly. Oh.
All fun and games till the reality kicks in.
Not gonna fit.
I knew it.
That's how it's gonna look. Right, we're taking a step away from building for a second because last night we got nominated for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and we've now got a wheelbarrow full of water up on the lorry roof. Us three are gonna get drenched to raise awareness for some mental health. 3, 2, 1. That was perfect.
Okay, so we've just finished the ice bucket challenge and I'm now dry, which is amazing. But we're gonna nominate some people. I'm gonna nominate the moving mug, so Luke and Neve, you've gotta do it.
I'm gonna nominate the Home Improvements channel. You guys have got to do it.
And random one, Colin Furs, get out the bunker and get pouring water on your head, mate.
Good luck to you guys, it's cold. Back to building.
Yeah.
Yo! We need to work on both the countertops because we need a pucker place to put some drinks. Using a skill saw, we started cutting down the length on one side. This makes it nice and flush to the wall.
Oh. Goodbye, natural beauty.
Now, because we got a fridge, this side has to go too. And the other corners stay as they are.
Yo, I like this. We do need to somewhat create a man-made edge here, though.
Yeah.
We'll do that now.
Using a jigsaw and some made-up techniques, Josh began carving away at this flat edge. Once again, this mimics a bit more of a natural look. But before we could get a real feel for this thing, we needed to raise up the cupboards that it was sitting on. And that's because right now, the other side is so much higher. So for the first time, we welcome legs. And at the same time, we were also working on the other countertop. It's safe to say, this was pretty hectic.
As you can probably tell, the sun is more or less setting now. We have been going at this thing for hours. And let me show you guys the before and after. So this is what this is looking like now. No lines or anything. This is the underneath side, so we've not sanded it back too much, but we made it smooth. Look at all the lines.
Going this way.
So yeah, let's see how this looks inside. Wow.
Oh,
wow.
On to the next one.
No, we're not going to bore you with more sanding. So let's just skip to the good part. Check out the afters. Honestly, we couldn't really believe how good they turned out. This is now both the countertops in place, and I think they look so sick. Before we can finish these off, we need to move everything out of here because we've got some sick wallpaper. So 3, 2, 1, and the bar's gone.
Because we want this mini golf bar to be jungle themed, we found the most suitable wallpaper online. This is a mural, so all of the pieces fit together to create one big picture. That means all of the pieces have to line up perfectly, otherwise your picture's going to be wonky. And because me and Toby aren't professionals, we ended up with a huge crease in ours. But once we got the hang of it, it was flying on the walls. On normal walls in a house, you would use wallpaper paste, but because ours are plastic, we decided to use spray adhesive. And it seems like it might be working. And now that both of the walls are pretty much done, it's time to tackle the tail lift buttons. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so I've managed to cut the buttons out and I think they look pretty good. And voila, this wall looks insanely good. Way too good for the rest of the lorry. So it's time we tackle this silver thing on the floor. However, it's not as easy of a job as we thought it would be. This metal thing did not want to leave.
Yeah, stuck.
Little did we know it was welded down the sides. Toby didn't want to be defeated, so he got out the angle grinder.
Oh!
Whoa!
Bit of brute force! Hey!
Now that we finally got this metal sheet out, we were greeted with something else. And let me tell you, it wasn't pleasant. We had to scratch every single piece of this crumbly stuff off. Otherwise, you're going to be feeling it all underneath the vinyl.
Oh. Right, so we've been sweeping away and clearing up this whole area. It's now clear, but there's a big old edge here, and that's gonna get in the way of our new flooring when we put that down. So to take off the edge, first let's just try sanding it. So hard. So that failed miserably. Now let's try self-level screed! Oh, wormy!
This stuff basically gets rid of any imperfections that are in the floor, making it nice and smooth.
Alright, it's the next day, nice and sunny. This has set so blinking pucker. I can take my foot off and I can't even feel it.
So what better time to get the flooring in? We chose a dark wood vinyl because we think it would suit the jungle theme the best. We got it roughly into place and squared it up to the edges and then entered a place of no return. If you cut it too short, then that's it. Once we were happy with the cuts, we started peeling it back and spraying away. This stuff is so sticky, so you've really only got one shot at it. So best hope it's all good.
Alright, that is the flooring done. It looks sick. Look at this thing.
Alright, that is all we've got time for this week. What a crazy episode. Next week, we'll be finishing that bar, so if you're excited to see the final results, make sure you pop a subscribe and stay tuned because, oh my god, trust me, this bar is the best thing we've built.